I am a teenager. I am hormonal, I'm stubborn, I'm impulsive, I'm careless, and I'm rebellious. These are the stereotypes of being a teenager. Are these stereotypes incorrect? No. If anything, they couldn't be truer. The most common characteristic people associate with teenagers is defiance or rebelliousness. To be rebellious means having a desire to resist authority, control, or convention. We often associate rebelling teens with teens getting into fights, drinking, smoking, breaking the law, and so on. But what if I told you that many teens rebel by following the rules, getting good grades, and even going to college? Why do we associate rebelling teenagers with doing drugs, drinking alcohol, and getting into trouble in general? The answer is pop culture. Coming of age movies, TV shows, books, and songs always describe or show teens rebelling in a more, for lack of a better word, chaotic way. For example, The Breakfast Club, a movie about a group of misfit teenagers in Saturday detention. In this group, we have the aggressive bad boy, the jock, the quiet oddball, the princess, and the nerd. They all band together, despite their differences, and rebel against the controlling, power-hungry principal by talking to each other, running around the school, and even getting high. West Side Story. Two teens from rival gangs fall in love. They rebel against their gang and their parents by sneaking around, keeping secrets, and planning to run away together. Euphoria. A TV show about a troubled 17-year-old drug addict who has no intention of staying clean despite her mother's wishes. Songs like Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana, where the lyrics express the frustrations of being young. When you hear rebellious teen, what do you picture? Maybe someone with piercings. Maybe they're holding a vape, wearing dark, grungy clothing, and have a horrible attitude, right? You see, it's been put in our heads that teen rebellion is chaotic, but it can also be the complete opposite. Instead of dark, grungy clothing, piercings, and a vape, imagine preppy clothing. Instead of piercings, they're wearing glasses, and instead of holding a vape in their hand, they're holding a book. To be rebellious means to resist authority, right? So what if your authority figure isn't rule-abiding? You would rebel by abiding the rules, and vice versa. I've noticed that many of my friends who have parents that are more laid back than mine seem to always have good grades. They're more responsible, determined, and less impulsive. One friend of mine had a family that never went to college. They didn't see education as a priority for their kids. So what did my friend do? She made school her top priority and became the first in her family to go to college. Was this her way of rebelling against her parents? Before we get into that, let's backtrack for a second. So why is teen rebellion a thing? Well, during our teen years, specifically during and after puberty, our brain is still developing its way of processing, and our bodies are fluctuating hormones like estrogen, testosterone, dopamine, and norepinephrine. This causes a lack of emotional control and mood swings. Our impulses kick in, and then things get scary. Well, for some of us. We're experiencing new emotions. We're curious about the taboos of society, and we suddenly hate being controlled. We become rebellious. But we can't just blame our brain and our hormones. We also need to blame ourselves, and most importantly, our parents, for the way we rebel. Ellen Cohn, professor of psychology, Cesar Rebellon, associate professor of sociology, and Karen Van Grundy, associate professor of sociology at the University of New Hampshire, conducted a study on how different parenting styles affect their child's behavior. It was found that authoritarian, strict parents are more likely to raise disrespectful, delinquent children, while authoritative, laid-back parents who listen to their children are more likely to raise considerate, respectful children. I wanted to conduct a study of my own to further prove this information, so I made a poll on my Instagram, asking questions such as, are your parents strict or laid back? Have you ever snuck out? Do you keep big secrets from your parents? And can you recognize the sound of your parents' footsteps? A total of 128 teenagers answered my questions, and here are my results. 54% said their parents were strict, while 46% said their parents were laid back. 23% answered yes to sneaking out, while 77% answered no. Of the 23% who answered yes, 83% claimed to have strict parents. And of the 77% who answered no, 55% claim their parents are laid back. The next question was if they keep big secrets from their parents. 77% said yes, and 23% said no. Of the 77% that said yes, 62% claimed to have strict parents. And of the 23% that said no, 59% claimed their parents are laid back. Hopefully, you're starting to see a pattern here. Lastly, I asked if they could recognize the sound of their parents' footsteps. 84% said they could, while 16% said they couldn't. Of the 84% who could, 64% claimed to have strict parents. And of the 16% who couldn't, 80% claimed their parents are laid back. As you can see, the majority of teenagers who act out have strict parents, while the majority of those who don't have laid back ones. Because laid back parents are more willing to compromise and bend their rules, their kids feel less confined and controlled. Yes, we might act out at some points, but there isn't really a need. Rebelling is a way for teenagers to find out who they are. We don't want to be like our parents. So if our parents are lazy and careless, we would want to separate ourselves from them and become the opposite. Which is why the teens who had laid-back parents didn't feel the need to sneak out or keep secrets, while the teens who had strict parents did. So, to all the teens out there that get made fun of for always following the rules, guess what? You're actually a rebel. Strict parents need to understand that we can't be protected and sheltered forever. If we are, the real world is going to tear us apart. It's like you're throwing us into the deep end of a pool without even teaching us how to swim first. You need to allow us to take some risks and experience some freedom. Laid-back parents, congratulations, you have the right idea. Just don't let us get away with every mistake we make, and please, don't be afraid to shelter us from the real world every now and then. There are still some things we really don't need to experience until adulthood. Teens rebel. We love to rebel. It's the most normal thing we can do. How are we supposed to learn how to stand without falling first? Rebelling is a way for us to become the adults we want to be by taking risks and learning from our mistakes. So yes, I am a teenager. I am hormonal. I am stubborn. I am impulsive. I am careless. And I am rebellious. Thank you.